Hi guys, Johnny Good here for Real Home Studio. I don't usually do too much in the way of response videos, certainly don't want to do anything which is negative towards anyone else. Myself and this channel is all about positivity, being positive and moving forward in life, but I did see this post on a Facebook group a few days ago and just felt inspired to respond back to the somewhat dubious advice given on the post itself. Let's get stuck in. Just before we dive straight in, I want to remind you guys to please like and subscribe up to the channel here on YouTube. If you've got something to say, please do drop it in the comments box below. Also, if you're interested in learning a simple musical analog styled approach to mixing in your home studio, then enroll today in my course, The Virtual Console. It's absolutely free. It's a 6-part video course with just under an hour's worth of awesome content for you guys. And you can enroll in that right now for free just by clicking on the links below. Below that, there's also some more awesome content for you. You can get in a great mindset, my course, The Music Money Mindset. Again, a 6-part video course, absolutely free for you guys. There's also a free ebook too, 7 ways how you can start making money from your music today. Just click on the links below. So, I'm sure you guys are members of various Facebook groups or interact at least online with social media, asking questions and getting involved and learning. You know, YouTube that we're on right now is just such an amazing resource, and I'm sure you're like me, incredibly grateful that we live at a time where all this information is available for free. But of course, with the yin and yang of life, with great information, often what also comes in when you open the door is some somewhat dubious, not so great information too, certainly when it comes to advice from other people. As I said at the top of the video, I don't actually do too much in the way of response videos, but this post was just too tempting to ignore, and actually what it's throwing out is a lot of positivity. It gives me an opportunity to share with you guys some of my experiences working with recording vocals in my home studio. 5 tips for clean vocals. Get close enough to the mic. Interesting. So I'm sure most of you guys already know proximity effect. If you don't, just try it out. Set a mic up. Get straight into the face of the grill of the microphone, and as long as you're talking and making a sound, you're going to hear that sound's going to get boomier and bassier. And the further you get away from the microphone, the more ambient and thinner, if you like, the sound's going to get. So what you're looking for when you're recording, not just with the vocal, but any source material, is getting in that sweet spot. I always say about a hand span, about a foot away from a microphone is a great place to start with the human voice, and you know, with things like acoustic guitars as well. It's a great place to get started, and then you can move around, move the mic around, see kind of what works for you. But particularly as we're talking about vocal recording today, in front of the microphone, about a hand span away, and try things out from there. Also, of course, really depends on your source material as well. If you've got a rock singer in, you're not going to want to get him right rammed up into the microphone. You're going to have to play around with what suits the singer. If you're doing a jazz piece, an acoustic piece, you might want something really intimate and right up close to the microphone. Again, there's no hard and fast rule here, but a great place to start is a hand span away and take things from there. Number 2, quiet room. So that kind of goes without saying. You want to record in as quiet a space as possible. You know, you're not going to go into a professional recording studio and have all the windows open and be out on the street listening to having traffic noises. You're going to expect lots of background sound on your microphone. So yes, as quiet as possible, in as quiet a room as possible. But here's what I want to say about that. I got quite militant about that back in the day when I was doing an awful lot of recording. When I lived in London, I was on quite a busy street. There was a lot of traffic noise, and I was right on the road where I went to a big hospital, so you get a lot of ambulance sounds. And you're in London, so there's a lot of police sirens and that kind of thing. And that really infiltrates into your recordings. That's quite frustrating. But in terms of household sounds and outdoor sounds, things got to a point in a home studio where on really hot days I'd insist on having everything closed, and I was finding I was getting really uncomfortable. Anyone else I was recording with, particularly vocalists, you don't want them to be feeling uncomfortable. Obviously, in a best case scenario, you want to record in as quiet a space as possible, but what I would say in a home studio is don't let that stress you out so much that it affects the performance when you're recording. And worst case scenario, there's awesome software out there like RX from Isotope, which is just fantastic in post at getting rid of, say, background sound, problematic sound, which you don't want on your recording. Well worth a try. That software is just awesome. Dubious tips for clean vocals. 3, mic volume in brackets low. Not entirely sure what we're getting at there really, but when you're recording vocals, aim for the peaks around -12 dB. You're going to be absolutely fine. Vocals are by nature really dynamic. If you've got a very dynamic singer, you might want to go a bit lower than that. You just want to make sure that you are not clipping when you're recording. I think that's what this point is getting at. But I know we work in the digital realm, we're not in analog anymore, so we don't have to worry too much about the noise floor, but you don't want to get super duper crazy low. So, you know, I think peaks anywhere around -12 dB, you're going to be absolutely fine. Weird tips for clean vocals. Point number 4. Loud singing voice. Now this one's just plain weird. If you don't have a loud singing voice, don't worry about it. I have absolutely no idea why that would be important. There's lots of loud singers, there's lots of quiet singers, there's lots of mid-range singers that have gone on and been hugely successful. The human voice is so personal. I, for one, had spent a lot of time wanting my voice to be someone else's voice when I was working more as a vocalist, as a soloist, and building my career when I lived in London. I would always be looking around other vocalists, thinking I should sound like this, thinking I should sound like that, and not spending enough time on myself, accepting my voice and working on my voice. And if I look back now, the things I would have done would be got some expert tuition and really learn how to safely use the instrument. The worrying thing I think about that being on the list, this loud singing voice, is that it encourages you, your mind to think that your voice has to be something that it might not necessarily be. When it comes to your performance, I think the best thing you can do as a vocalist is, again, get some professional training. That's what I did actually post-surgery when I ended up having a hemorrhage vocal cord, and the advice and the lessons were just priceless for me going forward and carrying on in my singing career. So loud singing voice, I would absolutely ignore that. Be who you are with your voice, sing to the material. You're not going to be wanting to absolutely bang and belt out if you're singing a really tender piece of music. Look after your voice, cherish your voice. Get some great lessons from a teacher, from a tutor that you really trust, that's really experienced, that understands how to use your voice as an instrument. Look after yourself and your voice. Just plain weird tips for clean vocals. Number 5, recording at NYT. I'm going to assume that's street for night. I don't know. I've never recorded at night, hardly ever. Whenever I have recorded at night, it was when I was younger. Probably had a few drinks and woke up in the morning, listened to it, and it was awful. I pretty much always record during the day. I guess this goes back to the point of it being quieter sometimes at night. But you've also, if you live, say, in flats, for example, you're going to have people around you. Maybe I'm going to want to hear you strumming your guitar or singing late at night. And that's a bit of a weird one again. I always record during the day. I like to record. I'm a morning person. I'm not one of these guys that gets up at 5 in the morning, but I'm a morning person. My brain feels most switched on. Obviously, you're going to need to warm your voice up if you're recording vocals. I mean, that may be one thing about recording at night time. But you can do some vocal warm-ups for half an hour, and you're going to be ready to go. Again, I think this comes back down to understanding the voice rather than even recording. So when it comes to recording at NYT, recording at night, do you know what, guys? It just doesn't matter when you're ready to do your vocals, when you have the time to do your vocals, when you've set it up, just doing it, getting on with it, recording the vocals, getting it done. That's all that matters. So there you go. There's 5 absolutely bonkers tips for recording clean vocals in a home studio. Guys, what's the weirdest bit of advice that you've seen on the internet, maybe in a Facebook group or on any social media? What's the worst bit of advice you've come across? I'd love to hear what it was. I hope you enjoyed that video today. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe up to Real Home Studio. But most importantly, guys, go and have yourselves a great day.